So, April 2026 has honestly been one of the better months for streaming in a while. I was not expecting this many shows I actually wanted to watch to land at the same time. I've always believed that the best way to find something good to watch is to get a recommendation from someone who actually watches this stuff. That's what we try to do here every month. Today I'm going to walk you through 8 shows added or currently airing across Netflix, Prime Video, Apple TV+, HBO Max, Hulu, and a couple other platforms this April. As always, all the streaming availability for every show in this video is listed in the first pinned comment below, so check that out. Let's get into it. So if you didn't watch season 1 of the show, the basic setup is that you've got a hedge fund manager who gets fired and, rather than dealing with that like a normal person, starts breaking into his wealthy neighbors' houses to steal from them. And Apple TV Plus made this into a dark comedy crime drama, which honestly tracks for them at this point. Jon Hamm is really good in this. He's got this quality where you can watch him do something completely indefensible and still kind of root for him, and this show leans into that pretty hard. Season 2 is already 4 episodes in as of right now. The most recent episode dropped April 24th, and they've brought in James Marsden as someone coming after him this season, which adds a fun new wrinkle. I'll be straight with you, this isn't the kind of show that's gonna blow your mind. It's not trying to. It's well written, it's got a good cast, and it's the kind of thing you can comfortably watch on a weekend afternoon without needing to be locked in. Think of it like Succession Light. It's eating the rich, but in a way that's a little more accessible and a lot less stressful. The show has already been renewed for season 3, which tells you Apple TV Plus knows what they've got here. New episodes drop weekly, so this is a good one to just stay current with rather than binge all at once. That's Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV Plus. I have been watching Outlander since 2014. That's 12 years, and look, I'll be honest, I drifted a little in the middle seasons. The show goes through stretches where it loses some of its footing. But the core of it, Claire and Jamie Fraser, and the chemistry between Catriona Balfe and Sam Heughan, has always been strong enough to bring me back. And now we're at the end. The final season is airing right now, it wraps up in May, and if you've been with the show for any part of its run, I think it's worth coming back for the conclusion. The most recent episode aired April 24th. There are a few left before it's all over. What Outlander does better than almost any other show of its kind is make you genuinely feel like these two people belong together. It sounds simple, it's not. Most shows that try to do that fail. This one pulls it off across 8 seasons and over 100 episodes, which is a remarkable thing. If you've never watched it, I wouldn't start here. Go back to season 1. It's one of the better first seasons of any drama I've seen. But if you watch this show and fell off somewhere along the way, this is your reason to come back and see how it ends. That's Outlander, final season, currently airing on Starz and available on Netflix depending on your region. Real quick, if you're finding this video useful and you want to keep getting recommendations like this every month, go ahead and hit subscribe and give this video a like. It helps a lot, and it makes sure you don't miss the next one. Okay, let's keep going. So The Handmaid's Tale ended without giving us the resolution most people were hoping for, specifically around June's daughter Hannah. And this spin-off, which is adapted directly from Margaret Atwood's sequel novel, picks up that thread with The Next Generation. The show follows 2 teenage girls inside Gilead. One of them is Hannah, now going by Agnes, and it's also bringing back Ann Dowd as Aunt Lydia, which I think is probably the smartest decision they made. Dowd is exceptional in that role. She's been exceptional since the beginning. 5 episodes in as of April 22nd, with the 6th dropping April 29th. The early reception has been pretty good, though some people feel like the absence of the original show's main characters makes it harder to connect. That's a fair criticism. This is a quieter, more internal show than The Handmaid's Tale. It's less about active resistance and more about how people survive inside a system like Gilead, how they adapt to it, justify it, or quietly push against it. Some viewers find that more unsettling than outright rebellion. I think that's the point. If you were a fan of The Handmaid's Tale, this is worth checking out. If you never watched the original, I'd probably go back and start there before coming to this one. That's The Testaments, currently airing on Hulu and MGM+. This one I want to be careful about how I describe it because the tone is really specific and it's not going to work for everyone. Richard Gadd, who created and starred in Baby Reindeer, which was one of the most talked about limited series of the last few years, has a new show. It's called Half Man. It's 6 episodes, it premiered April 23rd, and it opens with one of the more jarring first scenes I've watched this year. 2 estranged brothers, a wedding, a barn, things get violent very quickly. And then the show slows way down. It spends the rest of its runtime going back through 40 years of these brothers' relationship to explain how they got there. Jamie Bell plays the other brother, and the two of them are both really good in this. Now, I'll be honest with you, early reviews are mixed, and I get it. Some people find the pacing frustrating. One review I saw called it vicious, brutal, disturbing, unhinged, and wasn't sure they could continue watching. Another person called it one of the best things they've seen this year. Both of those people watched the same first episode. If you liked Baby Reindeer, you probably already know whether you're in or out on this one. Gadd works in a very particular register. If that register works for you, this show is 6 episodes and it's worth your time. If you're looking for something more accessible, this probably isn't it. That's Half Man. Alright, this one I was skeptical of going in and ended up liking more than I expected. The premise sounds like it could go wrong in about 100 different ways. Young single mom starts an OnlyFans to get out of debt with her estranged father, a former professional wrestler, as her unlikely business coach. On paper, that's either going to be handled thoughtfully or it's going to be a mess. What saves it, and I think genuinely elevates it, is the writing and the cast. David E. Kelley wrote this, and if you know his track record, Big Little Lies, 9 Perfect Strangers, The Lincoln Lawyer, you know he's good at finding the serious thing underneath a premise that sounds outrageous. Elle Fanning is doing some of the best work I've seen from her. And somehow they also got Michelle Pfeiffer, Nicole Kidman, Nick Offerman, and Greg Kinnear into the same show, which is genuinely a remarkable cast to put together. 4 episodes in as of April 22nd. It's funny, it gets genuinely emotional in places, and it treats its premise with more respect than you'd expect. I'd say give it 2 episodes before you decide whether it's for you. That's Margot's Got Money Troubles, streaming on Prime Video. So the first season of Beef, Steven Yeun and Ali Wong, won 8 Emmy Awards and has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a hard act to follow. Season 2 takes a completely fresh approach. Entirely new characters, new feud, new cast, Oscar Isaac, Carey Mulligan, Kaylee Spaney, Charles Melton. The format is the same. 2 people whose paths cross in an ugly way and the escalation that follows. And the show is still really good at doing what it does, mixing genuine comedy with the kind of emotional punch that catches you off guard. I'll be honest with you, some fans of the first season feel like it doesn't quite reach the same heights. I think that's a reasonable take. Steven Yeun and Ali Wong in season 1 were doing something really special, and these are just different performers in a different story. Whether it lands for you probably depends on how attached you are to those original characters versus the show's concept as a whole. If you haven't seen season 1, go watch that first. It's some of the best television of the last few years. Season 2 is still a well-made show with a good cast. Just maybe don't go in expecting a repeat of exactly what made the first one so memorable. That's Beef Season 2 on Netflix. Alright, so The Boys is ending. Season 5, 8 episodes. Creator Eric Kripke has described it as, and I'm using his actual words here, a gory, epic, and moist climax, which is the most boys way possible to describe a series finale. If you haven't watched this show, it's a superhero satire on Prime Video about a group of vigilantes trying to take down a corporation whose superheroes are corrupt, violent, and basically the worst people imaginable. Anthony Starr plays the main villain, Homelander, and it's one of the great villain performances of the streaming era. The show is genuinely graphic and not for everyone, but if you're okay with that, it's been consistently entertaining for 5 seasons. Season 5 is 4 episodes in as of April 22nd, with the next episode dropping April 29th. They've added Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins to the cast for the final season, which is going to mean something specific to a certain section of the audience. The show has never been interested in giving you clean resolutions, and based on what we've seen so far, the final season is staying true to that. If you've been watching since the beginning, you're already watching this. If you've been meaning to start, now is a good time, honestly, because you can catch up and go right into the finale run. That's The Boys' final season on Prime Video.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
Me? In Mexico?
So, Euphoria took a long break. Season 2 was 2022. We've been waiting 3 years for Season 3. And it's back now, currently airing on HBO and Max, 3 episodes in as of April 26th, with a new episode coming May 3rd. The show picks up 5 years after where Season 2 left off. Zendaya is back as Rue, the rest of the cast is back, and Sam Levinson has reportedly filmed a significant portion of this season on 65mm film, which, if that means something to you, is a big deal, and if it doesn't, just know it's going to look like nothing else on television. Euphoria is a show that I think genuinely divides people. Some people find it overwhelming, the explicit content, the visual style, the general chaos of it, and I understand that. But underneath all of that, it's a show that actually cares about its characters. Zendaya's performance in this show has been remarkable since the beginning, and from what I've seen of Season 3, that hasn't changed. If you watch Seasons 1 and 2, you're probably already watching this or you're about to. If you've never watched it, Season 3 is not where you start. Go back to the beginning. The first season is strong, and it'll tell you pretty quickly whether this is a show for you. That's Euphoria, Season 3, currently airing on HBO and streaming on Max. Alright, and as always, all streaming availability, including international options, is in the first pinned comment below. I'll keep making these as long as you all keep watching them. If you got something useful out of this video, a like and a subscribe goes a long way. See you next month.